Roto Baller Game Day.
Hey Roto Ballers, what is going on? Roto Baller Game Day is live, our first episode of the year, and we are pumped to be here tonight, leading you right up to kickoff for the Hall of Fame game, and we've got a ton of stuff to talk about. But one of the most important things, the jersey hanging behind me, we're going to be giving that away tonight. We're going to talk about the news in the notes, some injuries, what's going on in training camp right now. We've got a whole lot to talk about, and this is what you're going to be seeing throughout the year, so we're really excited for that. And with me, I'm Kyle Richardson. If you don't know me, I'm Kyle Richardson. You can catch me on Twitter at krich1532. But also with me, my man, my co-host, Jake Hubman. Jake, what's going on?
Man, Kyle, everybody knows you. Come on.
I don't know.
Don't be modest now just because we're streaming live that nobody knows. Everybody knows who you are, Kyle.
I'm going to be modest. That's what I have to do.
That's right.
But this is a lot of fun. We are super pumped about this. So we're going to be talking about a lot tonight. We're going to give you a little bit more information on what Roto Baller Game Day is, what to expect throughout the season. Like I said, news and notes. We're going to be talking about some injuries and things out of training camp. Our updated rankings are out at rotoballer.com. If we have enough time, we'll get to those and run through those a little bit real quick. We're going to be talking about another giveaway that we'll have here pretty soon. And again, announcing the winner of the signed Saquon Barkley jersey and 3 premium subscriptions to Roto Baller. So we are excited to be doing this tonight. Again, I've said it already several times. We are pumped. We've been working on this for a while now. Jake has done a lot of excellent work in the background for us, so I appreciate that. The nice screen that you see there, that's what you're going to be looking at all season long. Down there on the bottom on that ticker, we're going to have our weekly rankings on there. We're going to have news and notes. If there's breaking news while you're watching Roto Baller Game Day, it's going to be on there, and that's what Roto Baller Game Day is going to be all about. So with Roto Baller Game Day, we're going to be streaming live on Twitter. So right now we're on Roto Baller NFL. We're hoping to be on the other regular Roto Baller Twitter handle as well. A little bit of technical difficulty tonight, but that happens when you stream for the first time every once in a while, so we'll get that taken care of. We'll be on Facebook. Hopefully at some point, possibly we'll be on Twitch too. We're on YouTube Live. We'll see what happens, but we're going to be on a lot of channels out there. So when you're getting ready to set your lineup, when you're making last-minute changes, Roto Baller Game Day with Jake and myself will be here helping you make those decisions. And our goal is to be one of the most interactive game day shows that you are going to find. So we know you want some advice, you want some help. You're going to be able to tweet at us, send us your comments, start sit questions, anything that you need leading up to game day is what we're going to offer you. And we're going to be on that sweet spot, 12 to 1. So leading right up to kickoff, that's where you're going to be able to find us. So we're excited about that. Again, the setup that you see, this nice little setup on the bottom ticker there, you're going to see our weekly rankings. You're going to see scores. You're going to see updates. If there's breaking news, if you've got someone in your lineup that might be out that week, we'll put the breaking news right down there and let you know who's inactive, who is active, so you're not going to have to worry about that. You're going to get everything that you need by watching Roto Baller Game Day, so we hope that you tune in when we get there. But let's go ahead and do this. Let's jump into some content. Let's talk for a little bit. Again, we're going to be giving away the jersey tonight and some premium subscriptions. But first off, we want to talk some football. So, Jake, let's talk about Doug Baldwin a little bit. I'm a fan. I've touted him all season long. I talked about him for a little bit with Real Talk Raf on Roto Baller Radio on Sirius XM yesterday, and we were still buying, but that was before the news came out that he's going to miss the entire preseason. So what are you doing right now, Jake?
I'm a little sad because, I was pretty high on Doug Baldwin. However, it doesn't sound like it's going to be anything that's going to go into the regular season. I would much rather him, take his time, get healthy in the preseason, and come out week 1 and be ready to go, because I really think that Seattle is going to have a lot of passing attempts this year. That defense is so horrible in Seattle that they're going to be trailing a lot of games. They got a horrible, tough schedule as far as facing some of the top offenses in football. They're going to have to throw to stay in games, and Doug Baldwin is a big piece of that, and I'm kind of banking that he's coming back week 1 and going to be ready to go.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping too. I really want him to be ready to go right away. It sounds like he's going to be out the entire preseason possibly, which is not what was first reported. First reported was maybe a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Now we're talking all preseason. So on draft day, when you get to draft day and Doug Baldwin is sitting there at a decent ADP, which he has been all year, especially in PPR leagues, Are you drafting him in kind of that third round, late second round area, or are you staying away right now?
I'm not going to say I'm staying away yet. I have a feeling that with this news coming out, this ADP is going to fall a little bit. And if anything, that's going to be better. I mean, you'll be able to get him at hopefully a little bit discounted price. I'm watching the comments as they're coming in, and one of the comments is Tyler Lockett. Does that mean that his stock rises?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it does. I mean, but how much stock are we putting in Tyler Lockett? I mean, I guess it would, because they don't have a whole lot of other options. I mean, I guess it would solidify Brandon Marshall's spot on the roster if there is something wrong with Doug Baldwin. But I'm not going to avoid him. Hopefully that ADP gets a little bit higher and we don't have to worry about taking him as early, because like I said, I had him at number 10 overall in my rankings. So I mean, that's a big hit if he's already going to miss time.
Yeah, I've got him in PPR leagues. I've also got him as a wide receiver 1 this year. And like we talked about, negative game script. I mean, everything is set up for Doug Baldwin to have a huge year. So to find out he's going to miss the entire preseason, with me right now, I'm not moving him. Because, number one, we still don't 100% know what the issue is. We haven't been told exactly what his problem is. We know it's something to do with his knee, but, what is it? We don't know. So I'm just going to move forward as I have been so far. I'm going to grab his ADP here real quick and see what the updated ADP is in PPR leagues. Doug Baldwin, 26.8. So he's the wide receiver 10 right now. And we're probably going to see a little bit of a shift here in a minute because T.Y. Hilton is right behind him. So with Andrew Luck progressively looking like he is going to be on the field to start week 1 and looking healthy again, I'm sure T.Y. Hilton's going to jump above him. You've got Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs sitting right behind him as well. Tyreek Hill, Larry Fitzgerald, Amari Cooper. So I'm thinking that there's going to be a lot of movement here over the next few weeks, and Baldwin starts to slip a little bit. So if you haven't drafted yet, and if you can get Doug Baldwin at a good price, I'm still doing it, especially if he slips into maybe like the late third round, which could potentially happen. If he slips into that late third round and you've got yourself a true wide receiver 1 and a true running back 1 to begin the draft, I'm all on Doug Baldwin still. I'm not moving yet. We'll see.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm getting tons of comments flying through here, and if I miss you, I apologize. Make sure you hit me up again. They're coming in pretty quick. But hey, one of them I'm going to call out here again, and it's a good question to bring up here. Also talking about Seattle, it's coming from the FFL Wire, somebody we know out there on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
What about Dez? Is Dez an option now?
Man, I don't know. Seattle looked like they overhauled the roster for a couple of different reasons this past offseason, and I think one of those was getting rid of those big personalities that they felt may have hindered some things. I'm not saying I agree with any of that, so don't take it that way. I'm just saying that that's what it perceived to be. So bringing Dez Bryant in seems to kind of go against that. So I would be surprised if they did that. I don't think they're going to be bringing Bryant in. I
don't think so either. I can't see it. I mean, they already have Brandon Marshall there. Not that I'm saying Brandon Marshall is the savior by any means, but I don't know if they need Dez on top of it. I mean, Brandon Marshall was kind of Dez Bryant like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Brandon Marshall took a huge, lifestyle change and everything. He turned it around, but he was kind of that diva wide receiver there to begin with. But no, I can't see Dez going there. Dez is going to go somewhere else and totally ruin somebody's fantasy value somewhere else.
Yeah. Hopefully not to Cleveland.
Yeah, hopefully not Cleveland, because
that's what we don't want.
For your sake, it's Antonio Callaway.
I've been all over Callaway all off season long, and I'm not. And we'll talk about this real quick. So the kind of the Dez Bryant to Cleveland rumors that happened, they look like they've died down. So I don't think it's going to happen now. But at the end of last week, it sure seemed like he was going to Cleveland. It seemed like it was getting as close to a done deal as possible. And, in our group chat on Twitter, we talked about it quite a bit. And I said, I love Antonio Callaway, and I'd love to see him get his shot right away. I think he ends up outplaying Corey Coleman by the end of the year. I don't think he's a top wide receiver option by any means yet, but maybe in the future. But I just thought Dez Bryant to put in a locker room with Antonio Callaway, Josh Gordon, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Duke Johnson, Tyrod Taylor, Baker Mayfield, all of David Njoku, all these young guys, I thought it was an awful move. I was going to hate that just for the sake of hating it, because I thought it would have been ridiculous. I mean, this Twitter spat that you saw going back and forth, you don't want that on your team, especially on a younger team that you think is on the uprise and think is going to be in the playoffs, potential play some meaningful games for the first time in a long time this year. There's no reason to put him in that clubhouse.
No, absolutely not. Totally agree. 100%.
So let's stay in Seattle here for a second, because one of the biggest things that we've seen here over the last week is the Chris Carson, Rashad Penny debate. So what are we thinking? Is all this coach speak that Chris Carson is going to be the running back one in Seattle and he's running away with the job and he looks superior to Penny? Do we think that's going to happen? Because I saw that yesterday Chris Carson was running with the ones, and today Rashad Penny was running with the ones. So it sounds like they're going back and forth. What are we thinking?
I mean, it's irritating, but I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, if anybody was going to draft a running back in the first round and not use him, it would be Pete Carroll in Seattle. But to be honest with you, and I've said it in other shows before, I don't care who's running the ball in Seattle. I don't really want either of them. I mean, maybe I would take Chris Carson late just because his ADP is so high that I'm not really losing a whole lot. But I don't, like I said before, they're going to be trailing in a lot of games, and they're going to have to throw a lot in Seattle. They may have a resemblance of a run game, but it's not going to be anything that's so productive that it's going to take my fantasy team from, an okay status to like an elite level because I have the running back for the Seattle Seahawks. It's not going to be that exciting for me. I can't see a whole lot of production regardless.
Yeah. And I'm a big Rashad Penny fan. I'm a Rashad Penny truther. I believe in him. I think he is going to have a fabulous career there in Seattle. And I continue to say that they didn't spend a first-round pick just to watch the guy sit on the bench. That doesn't happen. Teams don't do that. Now, Seattle has done some questionable things lately, and maybe it doesn't end up being a good pick, but it can be a good pick by playing him and playing him the right way. And Penny is a guy that's going to catch the ball out of the backfield. He's going to break off some good plays. He's a dynamic player. I think that is going to end up what boost his value this year, because I think he's going to be able to do that a lot better than what Chris Carson can. And we can't forget that Chris Carson only has a 4-game sample, one of which was a big game. But I'm not buying into the fact that Chris Carson, a 7th-round pick, is all of a sudden going to outplay Rashad Penny and take the job from him and play all year long and not give up snaps. If anything, maybe 50-50, but Penny is going to have an impact in Seattle this year. And if they play in a negative game script all year, if they get to the 4th quarter and they're down by 2 touchdowns, Penny's going to be on the field the entire time. Chris Carson's not going to be out there. It's going to be Penny taking those snaps. Right now, Rashad Penny, his ADP is at 47.1, so he's the RB22. And scrolling down here, Chris Carson, his ADP is at 103. He's the running back 43. So if you're a Penny owner, or if you draft Penny early and you get to that area where Chris Carson is hanging around, maybe handcuff him just in case, just to be careful, see what happens. But I'm not taking Chris Carson expecting anything big from him this year either.
So I went not to draft any of them, and then you're drafting both.
It depends. I mean, if I took Penny in a draft, which I have, dynasty drafts, it's been a while. I haven't done any redrafts recently with him. It depends, because when you get down and you got Chris Carson there, I mean, my boy Nyheim Hines, who I love, is sitting right behind him. I think I'd rather own Hines over Carson, just because I think he's going to have an actual settled PPR role this year in Indy. You've got Gio Bernard that's right there behind him. Another interesting one is Latavius Murray. I think he's a standalone value this year. I don't think he's a guy that you pick up because you think Cook is going to underperform or might not come back from injury as well as we hope. But I think Latavius Murray has some standalone value as a guy that you can put in there as someone's going to get you some touchdowns. Those are all guys that I would think about taking over Chris Carson. So I'm not saying I would draft him, but we'll see.
You can have him.
You'll let me have him.
Whatever shares that I was going to get, I'll let them go to you.
Okay, that works. So let's stay out west. Let's change conferences, though. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. So last couple of days, Patrick Mahomes apparently has thrown, 7 interceptions in 6 practices? Is that what they said?
It was a number close to that, yeah.
Yeah. So is this just another training camp thing being blown out of proportion, or is Patrick Mahomes really this guy that's going to be throwing a pick or more a game?
I mean, I can see him throwing a lot of interceptions all season. He's kind of got that gunslinger Brett Favre mentality. But do I care that it's happening right now? Not a whole lot. I mean, he's out there in his first training camp as the number 1 quarterback in Kansas City. He's got Sammy Watkins, who he's not used to throwing the ball to. I mean, they're getting their timing down. This is the whole purpose of training camp, is to get on the same page with everybody. I don't care yet. Now, if we get into the fourth week of the preseason or the end of the third quarter in the third preseason game and he's doing nothing but throwing interceptions, maybe we need to start looking at it. But right now, it's just training camp and everybody's getting their timing down. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I agree. And this is a guy that he worked with Tyreek Hill last year, so he's got a little bit, he's got a little bit of chemistry there. He's got chemistry with Travis Kelce. I mean, he's working with Kareem Hunt, but Kareem Hunt missed a couple of days, so they've been working Spencer Ware and other guys in there too. The big thing though is Sammy Watkins. Maybe he's purposely pushing some things towards Sammy because he's trying to build up that chemistry. He's trying to get on the same page. Now, I haven't seen anything. I don't know for sure where the interceptions were thrown, who they were targeted to, what kind of drills they were doing. I'm just making a little bit of an assumption here that possibly maybe he's just forcing some things with Sammy Watkins right now to get on the same page. So come week one, they've learned each other a little bit better and they can move forward and have a better season. But yeah, Mahomes, he's going to be a gunslinger. I think he's going to throw a few interceptions this year. If you play in a league where you get deducted, where points are deducted for interceptions, maybe stay away from him if you can get somebody else. But I'm not going to shy away completely. And in dynasty leagues, I want as many Mahomes shares as possible. I really like this kid. He was my QB2 in the draft last year, right behind Watson. I'm in love with him. So yeah, no, I like him a lot.
And in the majority of places, he's probably going to be your number 2 anyway. There's so many decent quarterbacks out there that you don't have to rely on Patrick Mahomes. You may draft him, but you probably have somebody else, or able to get somebody else that can carry you until he figures it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point. So if you're in a 1 QB league, and I'm pulling this ADP real quick. So if you're in a 1 QB league, Pat Mahomes is a QB 15. So you're not taking him as your QB 1. We've talked about QBs a little bit in our QB rankings. We talked this year. We've talked about him potentially being a guy that has a QB 1 floor, or a QB 1 ceiling, excuse me. So he becomes a QB 1. But at the same time, we talked a lot about pairing him. This is a point I brought up with a guy like Case Keenum, somebody that might have a safe floor that's not going to be taking a whole lot of risks. Pair him with a guy like Case Keenum, and then you've got a nice balance there, especially if you're in a league where you love to wait on quarterbacks and you're just willing to take guys way later in the draft, or if you're like in a 2 QB league or a super flex league.
Yep. And like I said, I'm not worried about it regardless really yet, but it's something to pay attention to.
So let's move. So Patrick Mahomes, we got that out of the way. Let's go to your home state.
Which one? my grow up Arizona Cardinal state or my current Carolina Panther state?
Your current Carolina Panthers.
I knew you were going to go there.
We're going to go there. So yesterday and today, Christian McCaffrey, 25 to 30 touches per game. Are we seeing that?
No. I mean, come on. The dude would be broken by week 3. I mean, it's just not. And to me, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's not his game here in the NFL. Yeah, it worked in Stanford in college. He did great. But that's not what he is in the NFL. He's that guy that you can put in the backfield and get a few touches here or there. But unless they plan on him catching 15 to 20 balls a game, that number is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I don't see that. I don't see that happening either. And we're both big CJ Anderson fans. We think he's in for a good year. I think he's as good as a running back 2 this year. I think he'd get into that running back 2 area because I think he's going to have that standalone value. I mean, if he gets as many carries as Jonathan Stewart had last year and is far more productive with them, more efficient with them, absolutely. And if he can get some touchdowns to go with it. So I like Christian McCaffrey as a safe running back 2 floor play in PPR leagues. I don't think he's touching running back 1 numbers like he did last year, especially with how many targets are going to be taken away from him with the additions of DJ Moore, with Curtis Samuel being back and healthy, with Greg Olsen being back and healthy. He's going to have some stuff taken away. He's going to have some carries. I don't think he's going to get nearly the carries that people are thinking either. This is just coach speak.
This is 100% coach speak. Like, this is like if Pete Carroll were coaching the Panthers, this is what I would expect to hear.
I don't even want to talk about it.
I'm just saying, that's kind of what it is. It's just not – there's no way. And, I'm going to do a quick little shout-out. I saw something on a tweet earlier today from Nate Hamilton out there. He sent something out with a hype video of C.J. Anderson, and I love it. I like some C.J. Anderson. A lot of people hate on C.J. Anderson, but he just produces. I mean, he had a horrible situation last year and still had 1,000 yards rushing in Denver. And we've mentioned it before. He was one of the top-rated pass-blocking running backs. And what do they need to do here in Carolina? They need to protect Cam Newton so he's not constantly hurt. C.J. Anderson's going to see a lot of time in this backfield.
Yeah, C.J. Anderson last year was the running back 18, and he played in an offense where the coaching staff literally wanted Devontae Booker to take the job from him. They wanted C.J. Anderson on the bench out of Denver. They wanted Booker to be the guy. And it still didn't happen. Anderson went out there and produced. He's never averaged under 4 yards a carry in a season. This is a guy that he's going to have a lot of standalone value this year. So we are definitely on the same page there.
Yep.
So words of the wise. Our lesson for today: don't listen to coach speak.
No.
Make your own.
Yeah, don't. Especially right now, especially in training camp, don't ever listen to coach speak. Everybody's the greatest player on the roster right now.
Yeah, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So this is breaking news here recently in the last 24 hours. So Eric Decker to the Patriots. I tweeted a little bit ago earlier today that if there's that one player that you can't quit, for me, that's Eric Decker. Somehow every single season I get roped into grabbing this guy as a deep stash, putting him on my team, and it hasn't worked out recently.
I see an Eric Decker meme in your future.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I may have to create one.
You should create one. I'll share it.
All right, perfect. Well, and it is. It's one of those things where, like, no matter who it is, anybody who signs with New England, we all get excited about it. It doesn't matter. I mean, literally, Jerry Rice could come out of retirement and sign with the New England Patriots, and he's a first-round pick. I mean, it's just everybody just sees that Tom Brady offense, and they just assume that any receiver there is just going to be huge. And do they get a slight bump? Yeah, if they get to play. But, I mean, they've brought in receivers before that didn't even play. Look at Kenny Britt last year. They brought him in mid-season. Everybody's like, I'm going to go out and grab Kenny Britt off the waiver wire. He didn't even play hardly. I mean, am I going to go out there and say that Eric Decker's going to go out and produce week one? I'm not ready to say that, but his ADP is probably going to be so high that you're not losing a whole lot. I mean, I'd much rather have Chris Hogan the first couple weeks. I've said on a previous episode where you gave me those crazy eyes, like, and what am I thinking when I told people to not stay away from Julian Edelman? I mean, I'd much rather draft Edelman at this point. At least I know week 4, week 5, once he gets his suspension over with, that I got myself a solid RB, or not an RB. He doesn't play running back, but just wide receiver. A solid wide receiver 2 for the rest of the season. And it happens every year. The Patriots come out, they're irritated about something that happened in the offseason, and they go on a revenge tour. I think I said this is revenge tour 62 for the Patriots this year.
A lot of them.
And it's going to happen with Brady going to Edelman early and often, and it's going to be a lot of Edelman and Gronk, after week 4.
I think that's an interesting debate to have, or like an interesting conversation. I think a lot of people would automatically just snap to Julian Edelman, but do we think Eric Decker, what if he comes in, he gets acclimated in training camp, him and Brady have a connection, he goes out, he has a decent 4 games, a good 4 games before Edelman gets back. Decker's not going to play in the slot when Edelman gets back. Edelman will do that, but what if we push Decker outside and he still has some value the rest of the year? Can we see it happening? I think possibly. I like Eric Decker signing with the Patriots right now more than I like the Jordan Matthews signing with the Patriots in the offseason.
I would have rather seen Dez with the Patriots.
That wouldn't have worked.
Well, I mean, technically, I don't want to see Dez anywhere, but I mean, if I wanted to see him somewhere fantasy-wise, it would be with the Patriots. I mean, when was the last time Eric Decker was seriously relevant? 2 years ago?
Question.
I mean, I think for like the beginning of the season 2 years ago, and he did. He had a great, season there with Brandon Marshall with the Jets. I mean, he had a good season, but I mean, he's constantly battling injuries here. I don't know. I will let you. Hey, just like my other shares, I'll let you have all the Decker ones too.
Okay. So yeah, his last season, last year, 83 targets, 54 receptions, 563 yards. That was in Tennessee. I think we expected a little bit more in Tennessee than what we got, but that whole offense, it just didn't vibe last year. It didn't work out that well. His last season in New York, 2016, he was hurt. He only played in 3 games. So 2015 is the last good season that he had. 132 targets, 80 receptions, 1,027 yards, 12 touchdowns. If there's one thing we can say about Eric Decker, the guy typically when he's on the field playing and healthy, he's going to score. He's going to get a lot of red zone looks. I mean, over his career, 13 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns, I'll be with Peyton Manning. But then 12 touchdowns with Josh McCown in 2015. So the guy can score. That I don't have any doubt about. But how much is he going to score? Gronk's obviously going to be the first look there. maybe one of the running backs after that, and then possibly Decker those first 4 games. I think he has some value, though. I'm interested in stashing him in some leagues late.
Yeah, I mean, if you give him away late and you have no draft capital invested in it, it's worth a shot. You never know. Hey, one quick question we got coming in here, too, on the tickers.
Let's do it.
We got Derek Gooden asking a question, wanting to know what we think about Aaron Jones in Green Bay.
Derek, thanks for the question. I tell you what, Ty Montgomery truther to the max last year. Didn't buy into Williams or Jones. Montgomery goes down with the injury. I look at it. I see the work that Jones and Williams put in. I'm like, okay, there's no way that Ty Montgomery is going to be the lead back anymore. So he's not. So now it's between Williams and Jones is going to miss the first couple of games of the season. And I don't know. This is a tough one to call. This is a really tough one to call. I'm split on both of them. I think Williams is more of your ground and pound running back, the guy that's going to be out there on short yardage, goal line situations. Aaron Jones is going to be your back that's going to break off explosive plays. He's going to be the big playmaker type of guy, the one that breaks off big runs. And then Ty Montgomery is going to be in that backfield catching some passes. So I think there's going to be a lot of splits. I don't think any one of them is ever going to have a week where they outperform each other unless there's big plays or something like that. I don't think there's a week where there's going to be a significant difference in snaps. I think they're all going to be pretty even.
Yeah, and if it's up to me, the only running back that I'm even going to touch in redraft leagues is going to be Ty Montgomery. Like you just said, I think he's the only one that has a consistent role week to week. He's going to kind of be that guy who's going to get 5 to 7 carries. He's going to get 5 to 7 targets each week. And being that there's no solid wide receiver 2 in Green Bay, I mean, everybody's saying it could be Geronimo Allison and Randall Cobb probably be in the slot. And
Randall Cobb is a solid wide receiver.
But I'm saying there's no other big name there that, I mean, they need Ty Montgomery. Ty Montgomery produces every time he's been put in a situation. He's just not been able to stay healthy. So he's one of the latest guys that you can get ADP-wise. And to me, he's one of the safest ones because, heck, even in some leagues, he'll have dual position eligibility. I know there was in some leagues last year where you could put him at your running back, your flex, your wide receiver. You know, it just depends on your league setup.
Yeah, he's going to be all over. So I don't know if that really answers the question for you, but...
thoughts on Aaron Jones? I'm not drafting Aaron Jones.
I'm not either.
There you go. Derek, don't touch him.
There you go. So a lot of talking to get to the same conclusion pretty quickly.
That's right.
Were there any other questions? We want to take another one? Anything else?
There's a few here, but I'll kind of sprinkle them in as we go. There's ones that I know that are coming up here in the future.
Okay. Well, let's jump real quick. Last thing in the news and notes. Let's talk about Stephon Diggs real quick. So I have had a lot of people all off season tell me how wrong I am about Stephon Diggs because I don't see a wide receiver 1 season coming. I see maybe a low end wide receiver 2 season coming. I don't see it with Kirk Cousins because I think Kirk Cousins is going to be a guy who spreads the ball around with his receivers a lot and then heavily targets Kyle Rudolph and Dalvin Cook. That's what I think. So with this big contract that he just got, this big contract extension, we've seen all off season where guys on Twitter or Facebook or wherever will say, you know, with guys who get big contracts, those are the guys who get the ball. Those are the guys who are targeted the most. Those are the guys with the most carries, whatever it may be. Is that going to happen with Stephon Diggs? Is his big contract automatically make us assume he's going to be the top target in Minnesota this year?
No. I mean, we've talked about this before too. I mean, Kirk Cousins is going to spread the ball around. It's not like all of a sudden Adam Thielen is not going to exist on the field because Diggs is making more money. It just doesn't, to me, it doesn't work that way. I think they're trying to lock him up for the long term, which is great. I mean, I think he's a very talented wide receiver. I mean, he is up there when it comes to talent-wise for wide receivers. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but that's not
just pure talent.
Yeah, it's just pure talent. It's just not going to be the Stephon Diggs show. Kyle Rudolph's still going to be involved. Like you said, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen. I mean, Thielen had a ridiculous year last year. I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from him either. There's just no way that they're going to solely start focusing on Diggs. I could understand if Thielen wasn't there, then Diggs may end up, climbing up the charts a little bit, but I kind of see these two canceling each other out all season long. They're going to take their turns having big weeks, and if you're looking for consistent production, I don't know if you're going to get it out of either one of these guys.
No. Yeah, I agree. 100% perfect take. Exactly how I feel. Thielen might end up being a guy who gets you some more catches, maybe a little bit more reliable in PPR leagues, but not necessarily a big playmaker. Stephon Diggs might be on, the lower end of the catches, but is going to have some huge plays, is going to have some big touchdowns. Rudolph is going to be amazing in the red zone, though. This is a guy that's going to be all over the field. They're going to use him a lot. Dalvin Cook is a guy I believe that they're going to use a lot. So the wide receivers themselves, like you said, I believe, too, that they kind of end up canceling each other out. So I am personally not buying Stephon Diggs this season.
Me neither. I mean, everybody has a price. Everybody's got a good value price. But at his current ADP, I'm not buying him. If he slips another round or two, then yeah, I'll take a chance on Stephon Diggs. But right now, it's just too expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, because what did I say? His ADP earlier was like, 12 or 13?
Yeah. Overall for the wide receiver.
Wide receiver, 12 or 13, yeah. Yeah, that's a little much for me. I'd rather take Amari Cooper this year over Stephon Diggs.
I'd rather have the flu.
At least it wasn't Ebola, like you say. It was Kareem Hunt.
No, that's Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt is fantasy Ebola. Amari Cooper's like the flu.
Well, that takes us to the first. We're through the first half hour now. So the first half hour of the first Rotoballer Game Day show in the books. We've covered the news and notes so far. Again, if you're kind of just joining us, trickling in and out, the Barkley jersey, the signed Barkley jersey, right up here behind me. We've got it. We're giving it away tonight. We've already picked the winner. We're going to make you wait a little bit longer, though. But what I will do real quick, let's announce the winners of the Rotoballer Premium Passes. So these three individuals are going to get Rotoballer Premium this year. And if they're not watching right now, that's okay. I'll catch up with them on Twitter. I'm going to tag them in a little bit. We'll make sure that they know what's going on. But if you don't win, so if you've thrown your name in the hat for this jersey for the premium subscriptions and you did not win this time, never fear. We've got another giveaway coming up soon. We'll announce that here pretty quickly towards the end of the show. And then, I mean, we do this stuff all the time at Rotoballer. We love our followers. We love our fans. We want to give back to the community that gives to us so much and comes to the site and gets all their fantasy advice from them. So we're going to have more giveaways as the season goes on. So don't worry about it. Lots more chances. We have great content, great tools to use in our premium section. So if you're interested, go out there and buy your premium subscription if you don't get one today. But our three premium winners for the Barkley jersey giveaway, we've got Brett Zimmerman at @officialbzimmer on Twitter. So he gets the premium sub. Eddie Dadagania, I might have pronounced that wrong. If I did, I apologize. That is at Eddie PATAGONIA4 on Twitter. And then Dan Brown at Strength Coach DB. All three of them will get premium subscriptions. I'm going to get them hooked up later. They're going to have all off season to check out that content, or not all off season, all season to check out that content. They're going to be able to get into all of our tools that we have to offer you, which we have a trade analyzer. We have a sleepers tool. So if you're getting ready to draft and you have a guy that you're interested in taking and you want to see, like yesterday, we talked about it on SiriusXM. Real Talk Raph and myself went through that sleepers tool, and we plugged in some names like Alshon Jeffrey. It's going to give you guys with comparable value that you can get later. So that's an awesome tool to have. Premium content from myself. So I write some premium articles throughout the year that only you'll be able to get to if you're in the premium subscription. And then the draft kit, which is going to be hitting real soon. Over 300 player profiles, I think, over 300, something like that, or 250. A lot of different player profiles that you're going to get. Lots of great information out there. So if you don't win it this time, think about going out and buy one. It's 50% off right now.
Everybody likes a deal.
Everybody likes a deal. So instead of spending $100, you only have to spend 50 right now. So let's now we're through the news and notes. Let's talk about some rankings real quick. So on YouTube, Rotoballer on YouTube. We've got this channel kicking right now. Jake and I host the Roto Revolution. We put up 2, 3, 4 episodes a week sometimes. So check that out. Pierre Camus and Chris Magano, they have the Fantasy Bomb podcast. They put their videos out. We're looking at other videos that we're going to be putting out as well. So make sure you head over there and subscribe, because maybe that's what our next giveaway has to do with. Just a little hint. But let's talk about some rankings, because we talked about it on the Roto Revolution. But since then, we have updated them. And over at rotoballer.com, you can get Standard League, PPR League, Best Ball ranks, Dynasty League ranks, IDP ranks, 2018 rookie ranks. What else do you need?
I mean, I think you got it all covered. I got nothing else.
Nothing else. That is going to win your league. As we say at Rotoballer, we are your secret weapon, and we will be in 2018 as well. So head over there and check out these ranks. So let's talk about something here real quick, because there was a couple of players that you and I were like, I don't see it. That should really change. One of them was Adam Thielen. So let me double check here real quick. I want to see where Adam Thielen went to on these ranks. These are PPR ranks. Adam Thielen now checks in at wide receiver 14. So he dropped out of that wide receiver 1 area. He was 10 at one point. He's 14 now. Jumping above him, Tyreek Hill, T.Y. Hilton, Larry Fitzgerald, and Doug Baldwin. What do we think? Is that a big enough drop, or does he need to go more?
I mean, I'm thinking he still probably needs to go down another couple spots. Not a whole lot. I mean, it's trending the right way.
And again, PPR redraft, behind Thielen, we have Tate, Demaryius Thomas, Amari Cooper, and then we get into Stephon Diggs, Allen Robinson territory. I think Tate, Demaryius Thomas, and Cooper are above Thielen for me this year.
Yeah. Cooper is questionable for me. But like I said, another 2 spots down behind Tate and Thomas would probably be right where I would put him. So, yeah, I mean, right there at 16, wide receiver 16 or so.
Okay, here's the thing. This is now twice now you've talked bad about Amari Cooper.
It's only been twice in like the last 5 minutes.
Oh, twice. I think this is how you feel when I talk bad about David Johnson, which I don't really talk bad about him. I just don't love him as one of the top 4 picks. Neither here nor there. I've covered all that in the past.
That's right.
Go out to YouTube, Roto Revolution, top running backs, check it out. I break it all down there. I'm not going to do it again right now.
And he breaks my heart.
And I break his heart. So you're breaking my heart with Amari Cooper right now. The wide receiver 1 on a team that is going to throw the ball a lot this year. You don't want anything to do with him in redraft.
He just seems to me like he never cares. Like, have you ever watched him? He just, like, sometimes he just acts like he's like, whatever. You know, I mean, he just doesn't have that fire. He doesn't have that passion. He needs, like, 26 targets in order to produce something a lot of the times.
He just bulked up to 226 pounds. He obviously cares, Jake.
He bulked up last year, though.
Remember those pictures that surfaced last year?
Yes.
Like, I mean, he was huge.
Yes.
So when they said he bulked up again, I was like, whoa.
It's like,
but I haven't seen any pictures yet that have scared me off.
It's like David Boston. Remember David Boston? Old school David Boston had those arms the size of thighs. Not my thighs, but like normal people thighs.
Are you saying your thighs are bigger than normal people or smaller?
Go on, Kyle.
Leg day.
Yeah, exactly. It's leg day.
Okay. So we'll get away from our bodies here for a second. We won't talk too much about that. Okay, so Amari Cooper, I'm high on him. I think he's going to have a really good year. I think he's going to close in on wide receiver 1 status. I'm obviously a little bit higher on him than my counterparts at Rotoballer because he is down at wide receiver 17, and I have him as my wide receiver 13. So Nick Mariano, who was the number 9 overall ranker in Fantasy Pros a couple of years ago, he does some of our rankings with us. And then Pierre Camus, who is our lead editor, he also does some of these things with us. And both of them must be a lot lower on him. So I'm going to have a discussion with those two and find out what's going on.
Uh-oh. I don't want to be on the other end of that phone call.
So let's so I'm not going to say anything mean. I'm not going to jump on him. But let's talk about someone else, because another one we talked about was Ezekiel Elliott, because we both admitted that he was way too low in the rankings because he popped up at 6 to begin with. And these were rankings that we did at the very beginning of the offseason. We've since updated him. He's now up to running back 3 in PPR redraft leagues. Too high or too low?
For me, I got him number 1. I mean, it's a little – I mean, it's hard to say that he's too low at number 3, but I mean – all 4 of those guys, they're all going to be clumped together in everybody's rankings. Right now, though, it's got to be Zeke number 1. I can totally see him getting that 50 to 60 reception range, which is something he's never gotten to, and he's been highly productive just running the ball. We add in that whole passing game to Zeke Elliott. Look out. It could be an absolute monster year for Zeke.
Yeah, I have him as my running back 1. I do. My number 1 overall player, Ezekiel Elliott, is my fantasy football MVP in 2018. I will plant my flag in that hill, and I will die there because I think a little strong there. Okay. I'll plant my flag in that hill, and I'll hang out there until I'm potentially wrong, and then I'll admit I'm wrong, and we'll move on. So with Elliott, and a lot of people say he doesn't get the catches that he needs to stay up there with Bell and Johnson and Gurley. Trust me, in 2018, he's going to get those catches to stay up there. They're going to incorporate him a lot more in the passing game. So just to break these down real quick, let's see if anything stands out to us. Bell at running back 1, and then Gurley, Elliott, Johnson, Kamara, Barkley coming in at running back 6, Gordon and Cook, Fournette, Hunt, McKinnon, and McCaffrey. Those are our running back 1s this year.
I don't know about McCaffrey.
Yeah, I have McCaffrey lower too.
I don't know about McCaffrey. I know there's a lot of talk about Jerick McKinnon right now, and a lot of people think it's overhype of Jerick McKinnon. I don't know if I'm ready to say it's overhype yet. I mean,
I think PPR leagues, I think he's the running back one.
Yeah, in PPR leagues,
because of the workload out of the backfield.
Yeah, and I've said it before. I think, and I know this isn't a popular opinion either, but I can kind of see Matt Breida getting some work in that backfield. I mean, it's not going to be 100% Jerick McKinnon for 16 weeks. Yeah, I know in the past I called him like the Tevin Coleman of San Francisco. I don't know if he's going to be that involved, but that same type of role under a Shanahan offense is going to happen somewhere. It's not going to be solely Jerick McKinnon. He's got a lot of value in PPR leagues, but I'm not going to say I'm buying the hype. I'm just believing it, kind of. I mean, he's going to get a great opportunity, an opportunity that a lot of running backs in the league don't get. So,
yeah, no, he's a running back one for me. With I really don't think there's any doubt. Just because of his workload, receiving the ball out of the backfield is going to be substantially high. It's going to be interesting to see if it's Breida or Williams, because Kyle Shanahan apparently loved Williams. I mean, there was a story about him pounding his fist on the table on draft day, saying, this is the guy I want, and wanting to incorporate him. Obviously, he goes down with the injury, doesn't get to do that last year. I think he's going to end up popping up at some point this year. I wouldn't just toss him to the side. And Jeremy McNichols, that's another guy that is there that was, a pick in Tampa Bay that we thought was going to be a lot better than he was, and they ended up cutting him. So we'll see what goes on there.
And I mean, McNichols makes the most sense because it'd be the most awesome nickname in the backfield ever. I heard this at NFFC, and I want to say it was Dynasty Guru FF that said it. I think he said we could call it the McDouble.
The McDouble.
I mean, that's awesome. Yep. I'm all about the nicknames. McDoubles, it'd be close to the top.
See, I'm not a fan of nicknames. I don't know why.
You and me are going to get along just great then, Kyle.
So when we were doing the Champions Analysis podcast, when we covered baseball, one of my longtime friends, Jesse Hyatt, he was my co-host on there, and he comes up with the most ridiculous nicknames, and I would always yell at him for it because I don't like them. So the main guy for me in the running back rankings that I think needs to be up there is Joe Mixon. I've got him run as running back 1 this year. I think I've got him at running back 12, RB 12.
People are going to think that my video froze, but it didn't. I'm just in shock.
Why would you be in shock?
You know what? It's not Joe Mixon. It's not him himself. I don't trust Marvin Lewis. I don't trust him. It's just I can just see that Joe Mixon's going to go out there. He's going to break off a few good runs, and they're going to get down inside the red zone, and all of a sudden, Giovanni Bernard's going to be in the game.
They're going to pass it like 4 straight times.
Yeah, and it's just like that's the part that I'm not sold on. I'm sold on Joe Mixon and the talent. I'm not sold on Marvin Lewis and the ability to use said talent. Now, they did, they cut Brandon LaFell today, which kind of opens up the door for John Ross. That's something that we've talked about here recently. And
I feel, was there somebody on our podcast or show that said that
at the time of the podcast that I said that, Brandon LaFell was still on the team.
Okay, whatever you have to tell yourself.
Whatever, Kyle. Fine. Okay, but it hasn't happened yet. John Ross hasn't broken out yet. He just has a little bit better opportunity now.
A little bit better. Okay. All right. We'll go with that. That's fine. So those are a look into those rankings. Let's hop over to QB rankings real quick, and let's take a look at our boy Deshaun Watson.
He's not our boy.
He's not. There were a couple people on YouTube who didn't like our take on Watson.
Yeah, I thought they were borderline threatening at one point. It's nothing. It's the same thing. I mean, Deshaun Watson's a great quarterback, but there's no way I'm drafting a quarterback that early in redraft leagues to pay the price for Deshaun Watson for the output that I'm going to get that could be duplicated by, say, Phillip Rivers, Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, Drew Brees a few rounds later. I'd much rather just wait and take those guys.
Yeah, so here's our quarterback rankings on rotoballer.com. We have QB1, my QB1, Russell Wilson. So Russell Wilson comes in at QB1 for us, and then Aaron Rodgers, Cam Newton, Tom Brady, Kirk Cousins, and then Deshaun Watson. So he's down at QB6 now. Is that low enough for you?
It's closer, but I'm thinking more right around the 8 area. QB8.
Okay. So behind Watson, Stafford, again, one of my favorite players. Drew Brees, Carson Wentz, Andrew Luck coming in at 10, Jimmy Garoppolo, and then Ben Roethlisberger at 12. I have Andrew Luck as my QB6.
Well, if he's healthy, that's a great spot.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is the first week I think we've basically seen Andrew Luck throw an adult-sized football. I mean, he was out there with like a Nerf the other day, like a week ago. But I saw him in pads. He's throwing a full-size football, and that leads me to believe that it's starting to get real. You know what I mean? Like it's possible. I mean,
real.
Yeah, I mean, it worries me a little bit that all the issues have been with a shoulder, and that part of the body's pretty vulnerable as a quarterback in the NFL. What's it going to be like when he starts getting hit is the question. So until I see him get hit and get back up and stay in the game and be fine, I'm just weary of it. I'm not 100% on the Andrew Luck bandwagon until I can see that he's good.
Yeah, and it sounds like the Colts want to move to a short passing game, a quick passing game. Get the ball out of his hands. Don't need him in the backfield getting hit. That's why I like Nyheim Hines so much this year. That's why a lot of people are in on Jack Doyle or in on Eric Ebron this year. It'll be interesting to see how that T.Y. Hilton connection works out. If that is the game plan to do some of those short passes, what do they end up doing with Hilton? Are they going to, maybe once in a while they'll move him to the slot for some quick routes, or maybe they'll do some out routes on the outside just to get the ball going, and then as soon as they hit a few of those short passes, try to throw one over the top. So it'll be interesting to see how the game plan works out with him. But let me jump back over here real quick. So so Andrew Luck, I said, was my QB6. Guy that we just talked about a couple of minutes ago, Patrick Mahomes, he's QB17. That's a lot lower than what I have him. And Dak Prescott, QB18. So my buddies over at Rotoballer do not feel the same way about Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott. In our video on must-owns, I had Prescott in there. I think he's a must-own quarterback this year for his ADP.
Exactly. You put it right there at the end, for his ADP. And a lot of people are down on the receivers in Dallas. A lot of people are like, they don't have a number one there. To me, and I've said it before, I like their situation in Dallas better this year than I did last year. I mean, Michael Gallup, Allen Hurns, the Beasles, that's his nickname, Kyle. Get used to it. I'm going to use it.
Who?
Cole Beasley, the Beasles.
Oh.
It's going to happen. I mean, just start getting used to it. They're capable receivers, and it's not going to be something that, Dak Prescott has to, focus on one person. He's going to be able to spread the ball around. He doesn't have to worry about the attitudes and the divas in the locker room. Zeke's going to be behind him, tearing it up. I love Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
But you don't love the Beasles.
I don't love the Beasles. I don't. I'm not going to buy that one. Not yet. Maybe later. We'll see.
Yeah.
So let's do this real quick. So those are some of our rankings. Again, rotoballer.com. Head on over there. You can get all those rankings right from there. We have a great rankings tool out there to give you the most in-depth analysis that you can get. If you have questions about them, hit me up on Twitter at krich1532. Jake, throw your Twitter handle out there real quick.
Yep, you can find me at Fantasy Headliners, FNTSY Headliners. And yeah, like Kyle said, hit us up. But we do have one more question that I want to get to before we move on.
Let's do it.
It's from, his name's David Zach, and his question, it's a little tough. It says, who's your first round pick? Now, it depends where you're picking in the first round.
Yes.
So why don't you take the first half of the first round? I'll take the second half of the first round, and then either or he can make his decision.
Well, the first half of the first round is super easy because we know who the first four picks are going to be.
True.
And almost in every single league, probably your first four picks are going to be, Ezekiel, David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley.
All right. So since we already said that Zeke was our number one, if Zeke is off the board, who's number two for you?
If I'm picking number two and Zeke's off the board, I'm probably, don't hold me to this, probably going to go Bell.
I won't hold it against you. For the back half of the first round, and I really don't care if it's standard or PPR, if it's a 12-team league, 10-team league, right there at that turn, 8, 9, 10 area. I mean, I'm going back-to-back running back regardless. Any mixture that I can get of, you have his jersey in the back there, Saquon Barkley, Melvin Gordon, Dalvin Cook, or Leonard Fournette. I'm taking two of those guys right there around the end of the first round, and I'm trying to get two of them. That way I can solidify my stud running backs, because I'm not going to have a pick for a while after that. So if I wait, it's going to be some slim pickings. That's my take. I'm going back-to-back running back, any mixture of those 4 that I named.
Yeah, I agree. And just throw in here real quick. I'm gonna talk about the back half for just a second. I get a lot of questions about, hey, I'm drafting at the back end of the first half. What would you do? I can tell you in several leagues this year, and I'm super happy about it. I went Keenan Allen in the first round, and I went Dalvin Cook in the second round, and I love that start, especially for PPR.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Would you stack Melvin and Keenan, 2 from the same team?
I got that question on Twitter yesterday. A guy's same exact question. He's got Melvin Gordon, he's got Keenan Allen, and he asked about what he would do if he drafted Phillip Rivers and if I had any issues with stacking that many players. And I told him an offense as good as San Diego, I don't have an issue with it. I'm taking the best players, and if the best players are on the same team, so be it. So I don't have an issue with stacking those guys. You just have to be prepared that there could be some weeks where your entire team falters because your 3 guys are in a situation where it's just a bad week, and sometimes it happens. If you can play through that, if you are in a situation where you have like Rivers, Gordon, Keenan Allen, and maybe your other quarterback has a better matchup that week, then put the quarterback in there. You don't have to play the stack every week. The only guaranteed stack I have this year is Wilson Baldwin because I think that's just a fabulous stack. But I don't have any issue. Do what?
As long as he's healthy.
As long as he's healthy, he'll be fine. People.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's kind of what I would do in that first round, and that's what I would do with guys on the same team.
All right. Well, there you go, David.
So we are at 7:52. So we're closing in on the end of our very first episode. Very first episode. So real quick, just one other thing that we want to talk about before we give it away. Before we give the Barkley jersey away, one other thing that we want to talk about. The Rotoballer YouTube channel. It is kicking right now. We are putting up some great content there. Big shout out to Jake. Jake is a guy that has made this happen. When I pitched to the Rotoballer founders, hey, I want to get YouTube up and running. I know my guy. I know who we need to go with. It was Jake. He's done a fabulous job on the back end helping us learn YouTube, get these videos ready to go. This great layout you see here, this pretty layout that's all around our faces. He's done that too. So we're putting up some great content right now at YouTube. So what I need everybody to do is start subscribing to YouTube. You follow us on Twitter, awesome. Like our Facebook page, great. Subscribe on YouTube as well. We've got some really good stuff going up there. Again, Jake and I do a show 2-3 times, maybe 4 times a week called The Roto Revolution. Pierre Camus, Chris Mangano do the Fantasy Bomb podcast. They put their videos up there. We're going to have some other videos coming out. But we're going to be doing another giveaway. So like I said, giveaways galore at Rotoballer. That's what we're doing. So during the month of August, anybody who is subscribed to the Rotoballer YouTube channel, we're going to pick one person per week, 4 total for the month of August, to give away a premium subscription to. So again, we already gave away 3 premium subscriptions tonight. We're going to give away 4 more during the month of August. This gets you into all the content over on Rotoballer. You get to check out premium rankings. You get to check out premium articles. You get to use our tools over there. We have great stuff. Excellent stuff. You want to be on this and you want to get the chance. So if you're on YouTube right now and you're watching, hit subscribe. If you're not on YouTube, go over there when we're done, hit subscribe, get in on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're having a good time with it too. It's very interactive. I mean, a lot of these fantasy football channels out there, you can put in comments and you may not hear anything back. You're getting direct one-on-one contact with me and Kyle both, and any questions you got all year long, we're there to support it and help you out. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what Rotoballer is all about. Again, like I said earlier, our motto at Rotoballer is we are your secret weapon. We have the most interactive shows that you're going to find. Jake and myself are as interactive on Twitter as absolutely can be. Make sure that over on rotoballer.com, if you need to set aside a half an hour to get one-on-one fantasy advice, we have an expert chat. Head over there, sign up for half an hour. It's like 15, 25, 30 cents a minute or something like that. It's really not that bad if you're a big fantasy football player and you really want to get some of that advice and you want some help with a draft, trade, setting lineup, whatever it may be. Remember that stuff is out there too. We are as interactive as can be, and that's what you get from Rotoballer, and that's why we're doing this game day show Sundays 12 to 1. You can find us starting week 1. That's gonna be awesome. We might do another live stream before then. We'll see if it's in the plans or not. But I think now is the time everyone's been waiting for. And I'll put it out on Twitter after this, and we're giving this bad boy away. And when I bought this like 2 months ago, I really wanted to just give it away right away, but I couldn't. I've been excited for this. This thing has been locked up, airtight. I'm going to ship it to you, okay? You're going to take a picture with it. You're going to post it on Twitter. You're going to tag myself. You're going to tag Rotoballer, and you're going to be pumped to have this thing hanging up all year long. Possible Rookie of the Year, number 2 overall pick, maybe a Hall of Famer someday. Okay, I don't want to put that much pressure on the kid, but who knows? Who knows? Never know.
I'm just a little bummed out. I mean, when you first got it, I was eligible to win it.
That's true.
And I'm not even eligible anymore.
Nope. No, Jake can't win it. No. I can't win it. We're not giving it to anybody at Rotoballer. So I did. I picked out the name earlier today, and our winner, drum roll. We don't have any sound effects. It's okay. So no drum roll. We'll do it on the table. Okay. We are giving this bad boy away to Scott Berger. Scott at S Berger Boston. We're giving him the Barkley jersey. If you're hearing it right now, jump up in the air, scream, be excited. You're getting this bad boy. I'm going to send it to you. I'll touch base with you on Twitter later. I'll send you a message, and we'll figure out what your address is, and we'll get this thing sent out to you. But congratulations to Scott. Again, congratulations to Brett, Eddie, and Dan. They're all getting Rotoballer premium subscriptions. And that's going to close out the show for today.
Yeah, and before we go, why don't we give our quick take? What about the game tonight? What are you expecting to see tonight, or what should people expect to see?
I'm expecting to see an amazing performance from Lamar Jackson that is going to set Twitter afire and basically call for Joe Flacco's head.
Yeah, that's 100% what's going to happen. I mean, everybody needs to remember, the starters are not going to be playing a whole lot tonight, obviously. A lot of the guys that you see playing tonight will probably be bagging groceries in about 2 or 3 weeks, so don't go crazy when Lamar puts up huge numbers. He is by far – he was the best athlete on the field before this game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's going to be even better tonight. Just control the hype a little bit. Just control it a little bit. But no, not a whole lot of starters. I mean, it'll be cool to have football on TV again, but, it is what it is. You're getting a bunch of guys that are playing for jobs, so that's a good thing to watch.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So real quick as well, Jake, give us your Twitter handle one more time for people to follow you on Twitter.
Yep, you can find me at Fantasy Headliners. That's FNTSY Headliners.
You can find me on Twitter at KRich1532. Follow the Rotoballer accounts at Rotoballer NFL. Follow them on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, if you're a Facebook person, not a Twitter person, make sure you like and subscribe to the Facebook page over there. But again, Rotoballer Game Day, we're going to be here all season long from 12 to 1, right before kickoff, answering your questions, giving you start-sit advice. We're going to have that ticker there on the bottom line. You're going to see that down there. It's going to have breaking news. So if you have guys that you're worried about that are injured, we're going to give you that breaking news on inactives. Everything you need is going to be right there. So this is a show that we're really excited to do. If you tuned in tonight, we appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Congratulations again to Scott and the rest of the guys for winning all these things tonight. And that's going to about wrap it up, Jake.
Yep, you guys all have a good one. We appreciate you watching. Find us one way or another. If it's social media, we're somewhere out there.
Yes.
But yeah, we look forward to the season. It's going to be a good one.
Yep. Rotoballers, have a good one. We'll talk to you later. And thanks again for tuning in.
Yep. Have a good one.